Hello, and thank you for joining me for a chat today. Welcome to Whispers from the Phylactery. I've been a game runner and a storyteller for 15 plus years, and I really just like to sit, talk, have a chat about some aspects of the game that we like, tabletop role playing games. I mean, if you don't like it, why are you here? So, today I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of running games online using different software or just voice chat, things like that. I mean, if you're here, you have questions about running games online. Maybe you've never run one. Maybe you are running a game online and you're wondering if other people have the same pain points that you do. Really, these are my thoughts on the matter. The things I like and I don't like about running online. So, the pros of running online. The internet is for anyone, anywhere. Asterisk. 90% of the time, 99% of the time, anyone, anywhere in the world can play in your game if you're running online. As long as the time zones match up and people are free, you put up the link, you get going, people can log in. Your friends can log in if you're spread across the country. If they've gone overseas, if they're working somewhere else, it allows for groups to continue playing that otherwise would have stopped. I'm still playing with people that moved away from where I live 10, 15 years ago. So I think that it's a really beneficial point that it can be the internet is global. Sort of positive point number two, using all of these different apps and systems like Foundry or Roll20, those are the two that I really have experience with. You can do beautiful maps that other people have made or that you've made. You can do music that you key up and you play it. Everyone hears it at the volume that they like to hear it at. That's a big one. And for the more technically savvy, you can have animations set up so that when your character casts a fireball, they cast a fireball on the screen. One of my players does that. They're more technically savvy and they have their character kitted to the nines. All of their spells do different effects, and it's cool. Do I have the patience to set that up for myself? No, because I'm the GM and I don't have nearly that much patience for all the characters and enemies. But I still think it's cool. And it allows us to sort of see the baseline images for our imagination to flourish from and really, I don't want to say appreciate them. I just think that, well, compared to my hand-drawn scribbles on a pad of paper, some of the battle maps that people put out on Patreon or for free are just, beautiful. Another benefit to running online is lower costs, potentially. Yes, you need to have internet. Yes, you might need to have a subscription to some of the software. But generally, most people have internet. Most households have internet. And a lot of the different platforms, Foundry, Roll20, things like that, only the GM really has to buy. And the players can play for free just by connecting to it. And even then, if that is a big buy for the GM, it's about $50, $50 to $60 Canadian. The group can all chip in to get the license so that they can all play. In which case, depending on the size of your group, it goes down to $5 to $10. So what I mean by lower costs in this case is you don't have to buy all the books. You don't have to buy maps. You don't have to buy minis. You don't have to buy a plethora of dice. I know that was silly as soon as I thought of it. Everyone has a plethora of dice. But you don't have to buy all of the things that you'd have to take with you to a table. Although largely now, even at tables, things are mostly digital. Not all the time, but a fair amount of the time. Character builders on phones and laptops and such. But it just helps cut down on if all the books are digital or all the resources are online. I don't need to spend $60 to $70 a book for 5 books that I then have to haul in a backpack to the session. I don't have to haul my box of minis around. I don't have to worry about my character getting broken. So I keep them in the little, dice boxes, really. I just put them in there with a little bit of paper towel. But lower potential cost. And then, sort of the final perk I was thinking of, another pro point, is the internet, especially for Pathfinder, is full of resources. All of the rules for Pathfinder are online for free. And if you shell out the money, they're there for D&D too, with D&D Beyond. But everything's out there. You can look it up. If you sail the high seas, then it's all free anyway. PDFs. But it allows us to just be able to look things up instantly. And that's the way that the world is now. If you have a question, you can just pull out your phone, ask the hive mind, you get your answer. Hopefully, it's not a corrupted answer. By hive mind, I mean Google. In no particular order, those are really the pros of online play to me. Looking at the cons, because there are cons, I'm not 100% on board with the online play faction branch. I don't know. I'm not completely sold on online play. I like it. It has its place. These are also not in any particular order. But distractions and lack of engagement can be a big problem with online play. At the table, I know when I'm playing, I need to keep my hands fidgeting and moving. I sew a project or I work on something. That doesn't take a lot of mental power, but it allows me to focus on the game. I do not pick up my phone unless I need to. And I just try to remain as involved as possible. On the computer, if you're a player, not having to look up a bunch of things. I mean, there's other tabs right there. You just got to click over. And then you're in a world. It's not your turn. It's so tempting just to scroll Reddit for a little minute, or scroll Facebook, or look at a YouTube short. And then you're distracted. And then you miss the cue when it's your turn. Another downside is tech issues and latency. I mean, we've all sort of seen, maybe not all of us. It's pretty prominent now, the clip from Legends of Evantris, where Frost is trying to look up his spell on D&D Beyond, and it takes forever. Latency is a problem. Tech issues are a problem. Trying to figure out why the item or the spell isn't doing what it's supposed to do in the system with the coding can take time. I try to do that outside the session if I'm trying to get a specific magic item to work that I've homebrewed. But latency is also a big thing. Or you need to refresh the app because something's crashed. And then that takes extra. It doesn't take a lot of time to reset, but it takes time. And then over the course of a session, all that time adds up because you're dealing with tech issues now from 4, 5, 6 people. And then voice issues with latency. You might have mic issues, or the computer might not work, and then that person just can't play. So tech issues are a very real problem. Next thing is the lack of physical interaction, sort of like the body language or the social dynamic, where there is a different dynamic talking with your friends on mic compared to sitting around the table and talking with your friends. Being able to see them react in person and be able to gauge when they're talking about their body language, it's something that you don't get online. Even if you're using cameras, it's something that you don't get as much of. So that is a flaw in how things work. Just because it'll never be as good. And we could have Star Wars or Star Trek level holograms where we see the entire person sitting over there. But for now, in our world, we just don't have that level. And it does mean that you miss out on some things. Sort of tied with that is a lack of taciturnity. I had to look this word up, but the tactile sensation of the physical experience behind dice. We like rolling dice. We like touching maps. We like touching minis. We like moving things around. That's taciturnity, apparently. And it's a big part of why some of us play the games. We like the clicky clacks. We like the shiny rocks. And that's a definite miss out. There are some things online that let you, like, they see the dice rolling, but it's not the same as rolling your own dice. Some people do keep like a set of dice at their computer. They can roll it. They say what they got, but then you're relying more on trust. And ideally, you trust people, but if you're playing with like a pickup group or a paid game, then then all the dice need to be through the system. So that is something that lacks out, is not being able to physically do things. And then the last one for the con for me is a lack of flexibility, mainly because I'm in the GM seat, the storyteller seat. When I am running, I need to know from the players as far in advance as possible of the session. Usually it's the full week. I try to ask. I need to know what they want to do for the next session. I need to have it all pre-done. Maps take time to do. I like to do the vision maps with light sources and all that. And that takes time for me to do. I can't just sit there and go, bloop, and it's done. Look at that, it's beautiful. I did it in 0.2 seconds because I'm amazing. No, it takes me a good hour and a half to 2 hours to get everything ready. If it's a really big map, it might take longer. Get all the enemies loaded in, all my notes made from the map. That way I remember everything when it comes time to play. And everything automated. So there is a lack of flexibility. I do have some generic maps, like I have a city map and I have a forest map that I just keep ready to go. But then you run into the Dragon Age 2 issue of, oh, we're in this coastline forest city for the, what is it now, 20th time in a row? Who are we fighting this time? So it's not as quick as just drawing a map out on a pad of paper, because I can do that in a couple minutes. And just boop, 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 boop. There's light here, here. There's some enemies coming in this way. This area's collapsed. And you hear chanting from over here. Done. That just doesn't work. Or if you want to do a spell on the fly, everything has to be coded, and it just doesn't flow nicely. So those are the negatives in no particular order, again. And I know that I just spent the past 6 minutes ragging on online play. So what do I think overall? Considering the negatives, considering the positives, I think online play is a good thing. I think that it is a useful thing. It allows us to engage with people that we normally wouldn't be able to. And it allows us to bring the game to life in a way that we weren't able to. I just think we need to be aware of its limitations. Some aspects I like doing more in person. Some aspects I like online. But a lot of the online stuff can be done in person. So if I have the choice, it's generally going to be an in-person game. But I like the option of running online. Or I know in the past I've used online systems to display the map on a TV screen, and then we use the minis there. We'll sit around the table. I've done that for a few campaigns. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't really know what else to say. I'm kind of just rambling at this point. So we're going to call the video pretty quick to a close. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening to the ramble. Let me know in the comments what your favorite things are about online play, what you can't stand about online play. I just want to kind of gather opinions from everybody else, because these were my main things. I know there's a bunch of things that could go wrong, go right. These are the ones that stuck out to me when I was thinking about this video. Yeah. So if you like this video, comment, hit the like button. It's appreciated. If you want more chats about TTRPG, slight rambles, consider hitting the subscribe button. I do at least one video a week. But yeah, good luck. So long.